You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And yes, that was a air quotes young Bill O'Reilly on Inside Edition. And yes, that does signal, and that does mean that Mr. Z took a few more minutes than I needed to, or that I needed the few more minutes because we were getting our materials together. Reckless, don't put it in the comments, my snipers will snipe your ass. Reckless streams, yes, this is a reckless streams rules in effect. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you button and hype button, please and thank you. Do not forget, Mr. Z is now doing memberships. We will start. I'm waiting for a few more people to file in, and then we will start our membership pluses and bonuses and whatnot. Yeah, that part. Okay, y'all. So today's stream, and hopefully y'all were able to click the link in the description box. If you weren't able to, don't worry, we will be playing it. We will see if we spam the hell out of it. Maybe, maybe not. Today's stream is titled Pricing the Box Out the Game. Men heard you and are moving accordingly, right? So as per usual, men are being told if you can't afford her, don't date. If you can't afford to date, don't date. All of that good stuff, right? All of that good stuff. And apparently the men are moving accordingly. And that has some women, a handful of women, actually having an issue with that. But ladies, y'all said if we can't afford you, then don't date, right? Well, the young men said, I bet, right? Continuing.
Look at here. Y'all keep coming with the excuses. They say 52% of young men say they can't afford to date. Money is now the #1 barrier to finding love. I paused intentionally because the excuses just keep on coming. Why is it that a man can't use his brain and be creative and think of great ways to take a woman out without spending the bank? Because let me tell you something, fellas, if you only taking a woman out that only wants you because you're spending money, that's probably a great indicator in dating that she might not be the one for you. Here in Detroit, we have a river walk where you could take a woman right to the river walk, have a great time talking about life, talking about goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And that can be probably the most memorable date that you both have ever been on. But you sitting up here trying to have $200 dates for what? If you ain't got that kind of bank, you shouldn't be trying to do that. And if that woman requires that, then she's just not the woman for you. Some of y'all going over and beyond for women that never even wanted you in the first place. If she only with you for a free meal, that's already giving you a clear indicator she's not the one for you. So stop the excuses, stop all the mess. Finances, I understand the economy is bad, but when has it not? Every generation had to deal with the economy, and every last one of them complained about money. So that can't be the reason. The truth is, you're not trying to be creative, and you're probably going after women that don't want you, and that's on you. You have to take accountability, fellas. Just like you say women should too. I love my fellas, but start thinking smart, because if I was a boy mom, I would be telling my son these type of things, and you guys should already know this. So love yourself enough to know. Go out with a woman that really is thinking about a future, really thinking about how she can build. Because a woman that's looking to build, she's not looking to spend all your money on the first few dates. She's looking to actually build with someone that can grow wealth together. Think about it, fellas. Be creative out there. I love y'all, fellas, and you know I love my ladies.
That sounds good. Looking to build, right? And check out the background, everyone. Shout out to Louis for the last minute background and thumbnail. Shout out to Louis Conyer, also known as Red Pill Sleeper Cell. And here y'all go, right? The young lady speaks as if this is not the predominant worldview right now. Look, the economy is all type of messed up, and the women said, at least let me get these experiences. I'm gonna milk these dudes. There's a pun in there. I'm gonna milk these dudes for the money and the experiences. And if I can meet one who can provide me the lifestyle, at least for the short term, I'm signing up for that too. Madam, you don't appreciate, and that's because you're not a boy or a man. You don't appreciate how predatory women have become. You're not the one they're dating unless you're same-sex loving, so you don't really appreciate the exploitative predatory mentality that neoliberal capitalism, late stage capitalism plus feminism has bought out in women. You're not on the receiving end, so you don't appreciate it. That's not to say all women, but it is to say more women than you think, and some of the women you would never think have a very predatory, exploitative view of how they should interact with men. And too much and too many of our society, the uninitiated, do not appreciate that. And that is men and women. That is in the secular world, and that is in the church. That's in the mosque. That's in the synagogue. Y'all do not appreciate how predatory your daughters and your nieces are. All in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s. Z, don't do it. Their 60s. They're predatory. They have a very exploitative way of viewing men as walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs in the occasional fun toy, rose toy. It sounds good to speak that way because you think it's only 1 and 2 and 5 and maybe 7% of women that are have this view of men as nothing but a walking ATM machine, a walking wallet. Madam, you have no idea because you're not a man. You're not on the receiving end. You don't appreciate that whether she's coarse about it and loud about it and aggressive about it, or whether she is calm about it and she'll go on a 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 dates and she'll try to tease it out. You don't appreciate that the baseline of quote unquote provision, it's not a baseline anymore. It's opulence now. It's luxury now. The standard is luxury now. Huh? That's what it is. Not all women, granted, but most. Ooh, goddamn, Z, don't do that. Don't do that, Z. Don't break people's heart. And so the young men are moving accordingly. The ladies have priced their companionship, their kindness, their tenderness, their softness, triple X fun, their box. They have priced it out the game. Now, can you be a charismatic dude or a very good looking man or a very tall man or even a well off man and potentially get that for little to nothing? Yeah, if you're in the top 20% of looks or height or status or income or wealth or white, oops. But for every other man, oh, she gonna make you pay crazy. And the ladies no longer even hide it. We're not talking about older Xers anymore. We're not talking about boomers. We're not talking about silent generation or greatest generation. Huh? We're speaking about youngest of Xers, or at least mid and younger Xers, late Xers, millennials, and dating age and marriageable age, Gen Z. They want you to pay exorbitantly for their autonomy. This is how they think. And madam, you're not the only one who's kind of somewhat questioning this. Exhibit A.
Why is it that young women of today have this popular phrase of, you can't afford me? What do you mean by Because I was watching some dating show, and most of the girls there were just, you can look at me, you can't afford me. Are you a commodity? Are you selling something? Isn't that like prostitution? Like you're up for grabs, to the highest bidder. It just okay. I understand what they were trying to say. Like, we're not in the same class. Maybe that's what they meant or what they mean today. But it irked me. Like, it hurt my ears to hear that you can't afford me. You can't afford me. How much do you even have in your account? Look at me now. You can't afford me. Are you selling something? I don't understand. Okay, maybe it means something else. Are you being sold? What exactly do they mean today when a young girl says you can't afford me? Why did they say that a lot? I'm confused. But what it means really. So why?
They mean what they say. What they're saying is that these young men cannot afford them. They said it how they meant it. What they're saying is, I need you to earn as much as me or more. And if she's anything middle class ish, no, actually, let's be a bit fair and nice, Z. If she's working class or lower, which is the majority of Americans, even though a lot of Americans like to call themselves middle class, they're not middle class. If she's working class, working poor, maybe lower middle class, she's saying that she needs you to earn more than her. She's saying that she needs you to be, air quotes, generous with how you divvy out those resources to her. Huh? That is what the women mean when they say you cannot afford me. You cannot afford to put me up, to make me a stay-at-home walking box. You can't put me in the furs. You can't put me in the luxury car. You can't put me up in the nice condo, in the nice home. Once again, we're not even speaking about a man's wife yet. We're not even talking about his girlfriend. We're talking about someone he might be seeing or, air quotes, dating. This is not even courting yet. This is not girlfriend, boyfriend. This is not being exclusive. This is not wife, husband. This is dating, getting to know each other. She's telling you, you ain't no getting to know me. You can't afford me. And by the way, madam, that is okay. But once again, the women have priced their box out the game, and the young men are moving accordingly. And there is nothing wrong with that. Exhibit A.
Ever like date a black guy, or have you dated a black guy?
No, absolutely not. When you approached me, did you think you could like afford my lifestyle? I'm a bougie girl. I like extremely expensive things. Like, can you do that for me? Like Chanel bags and, you know, paid vacations, stuff like that.
That's cool. So buy it for yourself, you know?
Why would I spend my own money on that? You're approaching a beautiful woman. The least you can do is like afford my lifestyle.
What are you bringing to the table?
I mean, look at me.
I'm looking.
Can you pay my rent? Can you take me to nice vacations with my girls?
But what about me being a nice guy, being caring, loyal?
I don't understand what you're saying. I just want to live my Instagram lifestyle. You can drop me off to dinner.
No,
you said you were going to take me.
I'm not taking you anywhere. You can go ahead and get the fuck out of my car. How about that? You want YouTube being a gold digger?
Not a gold digger.
You are. So now the whole world about to see you being a gold digger.
To all men, young men, the caring, kind men, it does matter. To a handful of women, they do factor that in, and it factors into your ability to be competent. No woman wants a bum living on his mother's couch, unless she's just looking for you to be fun time and you're extremely good looking, or you'll let her ride your face until your mustache burns off. Other than that, for companionship plus companionship, relationship, long-term relationship, marriage, etc., you at least have to be some type of competent. You have to look like you're stable. You have to be stable. Yes, there are women who are desirous of that. A handful. But yes, there are women. They exist. You might need your your power tools to fight for her, because other men, white, black, Latino, Asian, and otherwise, are also looking for her. They might already have her. You might need to steal her. I don't suggest it, but they do exist. But the trend in Western society, particularly America, is all that caring and loyalty and character matter after the money and the status. The money and the status comes first. It's paramount. She'll take the other stuff and she'll be happy with it, but the money and the status comes first. She'll make herself find you attractive. Let's be clear. She'll deal with the lazy XXX fun. Let's be clear. She might cheat on your ass though, but the money and the status comes first. I appreciate what the young man was saying, but the young lady told you. I don't know if this is a skit or not, but the sentiment is real. It could possibly be a skit, but the sentiment is real. In the fact that she mentioned her Instagram life, she telling you what that got to do with me. Okay, you caring and you nice and you're a good guy and high moral character or whatever the hell you saying. Look, I can't show that off on Instagram. I can't show that off on social media unless your caring translate to these dollars, translate to expensive dinners at exclusive restaurants, translate to expensive trips where I could take the picture and show off. Once again, the men heard you, the young men heard you, ladies, and the men are moving accordingly. You damn right.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you can't afford a woman's lifestyle, then date within your budget. Don't call her high maintenance. Don't act like she's the problem. She likes what she likes. You just can't provide it. That's not on her. That's on you.
Hey, the men heard you, ladies, and they are moving accordingly. She likes what she likes. Don't blame her for it. Is that what she said? The young men are moving accordingly, dear ladies. Mr. Z doesn't have that type of pride or ego. My manhood and my masculinity is not challenged by saying, quite frankly, Mr. Z cannot afford you. And that is okay. Here's the catch. Mr. Z can probably afford most of them, but that's besides the point. At least stable, like stable. I'm not talking about opulent, but that's besides the point. Mr. Z cannot afford you. And Mr. Z's pride and ego is not hurt or bruised by saying, ladies, quite frankly, you just price your vagina out the game, at least concerning Mr. Z. And that is okay. Dear men, dear Mr. Z been saying it forever. Y'all knew Mr. Z was going to cover this. Y'all knew it. You damn right, because I've been saying, look, young men, don't get into your pride, don't get into your ego. Just say it. Look, oh no, lady, I can't afford you. And let that scale up. Let the women fight for the elite men. Let them be chick Wednesday. Let her be Wednesday or Friday or Saturday or Thursday or Monday or Tuesday for the elite men that they all want. Give them some, the one thing you can do for her is buy her a pair of boxing shoes and boxing gloves so she could slug it out with the other women. So one of them could become that dude's future wife or main squeeze or whatever. And grab your popcorn and your plane tickets, oops, and just watch from the sidelines as the women go fisticuffs for the elite men they want. Dear men, get out of your feelings. We can find other people who value us for more than just the opulent life, calling it their standards. Huh? You can find women in America, it's going to be a little difficult, and you can find women outside of America where, yeah, she'll still be hypergamous, but her hypergamy bar isn't on the goddamn moon, on Jupiter, on Pluto, out of the goddamn galaxy. Maybe out of the universe? Huh? Leave these women. The only thing, dear millennials and Gen Z men, married or not, the only thing we need to be worried about is helping to create an environment that all of these single ass women, because I'm telling you right now, for all of us younger Xers, millennials, and Gen Z, I'm saying it now, 20 years before the fact, I'm saying it now, 30 years before the fact, possibly even 40 years before the fact. These younger Xer women, these millennial women, these Gen Z women, as they approach retirement age, and they were spendthrifts, and they were hyper consumers, and they were materialistic, they will be looking to be subsidized when they can no longer work. Quite frankly, before retirement age, when they start slowing down, when they can't put as much hours at work anymore, they're not going to have a 401k. They're not going to have a pension for most of them. They are going to be looking for the U.S. government. That's your tax dollars, and for those of you who had kids, your children's tax dollars to pay for them. Mr. Z is saying it now. Leave them out there. There is a cost to you not playing your goddamn role because you were holding out for the elite man. And we're going to let Kevin Samuels talk it out. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels.
You guys have been living in a fantasy land. You think that it's not going to happen. You think there's going to be some kind of bailout. There's going to be something else. There's going to be nothing. People right now are being put on the streets. In Dallas-Fort Worth, the constables are moving people out, putting their stuff on the front yard. You want to know what's coming, ladies? They're decriminalizing the oldest profession in the book. In New York City right now, the governor, the mayor said we're not going after people who are loitering the streets. So, like it or not, some parts of Manhattan, some parts of the 5 boroughs have been turned into right there in the streets. Go to World Star, you'll see the video yourself. Broad daylight, transactions happening on a stoplight. Guess what? That's New York. Guess where else it's about to come? California. States across the country, because why? There's not enough money to give to people. And if you're a woman and you have a regular job, you know, let's just look at it. If you were not an essential worker during the pandemic, you are at risk. I was in Neiman Marcus the day they shut the world down, and I had never seen panic like that before. And all those women's eyes, because many of them have been with that company for 20 years. All they had done is retail. Neiman Marcus is on the verge of bankruptcy, and the only thing that saved Neiman Marcus was the pandemic. Those women over there know they are coming back. And when the world stops again, many of these 40-year-old women are not going to have a job to go to and have no skills in the environment. Ladies, winter is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming, and when winter comes, it does not, and this is not just the winter. We are heading into what I'm going to call the long night. It's not going to just be 3 months. It's not going to just be 6 months. We're talking about a global reset for the world. The world, I have been studying this for the better part of 2 years. Look at what's going on in South Korea and Japan. You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? There are villages in Japan where people are outnumbered by freaking dogs. I'm not kidding. Japan is dying. An aging population and a group of people who are not dating. They're not dating. They're not marrying. They're not getting together. You know what it's called? Hikomori. Socially withdrawal. Socially withdrawn. These I'm talking about men 45 and under. Same thing with women. Remember we talked about korukoshi? People dying in their apartments. We talked about singyu, leftover cake, leftover women. Ladies, it's here. Winter is coming. August will be it. August, when the schools open, the people who have not been working will be forced to go back to work because the children must be in school. The daycares that are left will be there. What are you going to do if you go and have a job and you've been downsized, you've been automated? How many people have been to a McDonald's recently? And you'll notice that most of the front register staff is gone. It's kiosks. The largest 2 employers in our community of black women are federal government and retail. Retail is dead. We have 26.4 square feet of retail space for every American. The next largest developed country has 6. We have 6 times too many retail spaces. This is why you're seeing dying malls across the country. And what's going on? Because so many women are not being told to think about their long term. This is coming as a surprise. This is why women in Korea are saying we need to, the society is not set up for single people. And what the society needs to do is re-engineer itself for singles. Bullshit, it's not going to happen. Basically, what women in Korea and Japan are hoping that single men who had no family, no children, and have been locked out of the sexual marketplace because of this hypergamy will somehow come and save their lives. Not going to happen.
All right.
You guys have been living in a fantasy land. You think that it's not going to happen. You think there's going to be some kind of bailout.
And we're back. Okay. Why that matters, and shout out to Kevin Samuels and what he was saying about South Korea. Exactly. The ladies think that they can find a bailout, at least in South Korea. They're looking far enough ahead. The women, these are the single, childless women, the proverbial cat ladies. They're looking far enough ahead to say, oh crap, we're going to have to get some type of subsidy, some type of government assistance for our older ages. Now, of course, they're going to blame the system. The system is too set up for couples, and the system not set up for single people. And that's their way of saying we need to tax the people that made the money. We need to tax the couples that did get married, that did have a child or two. We need to tax those children as those children become adults and are working age for what we didn't make up for our retirement, for what it's going to cost when we're no longer working. So we need to tax the probably men who earned crazy good money, or at least good stable money, and they have a pension, right? The South Korean women are saying, hit his pension, hit his 401k or whatever South Korean equivalent, tax those children that I didn't have, but that he had with his wife or his ex-wife. They don't really do baby mamas in South Korea like that. Tax them and fund me. At least in South Korea, as bad as it is, as bad as it is, at least in South Korea, they're thinking that far. The early 40-somethings, the 30-somethings are women, single cat ladies are at least thinking that far. In America, they not. It's just, wee! Huh? They're so preoccupied with sticking the middle finger up to the men. They're so preoccupied with being antagonistic. They're so preoccupied with the gender war. They're so preoccupied with telling you that they don't need a man. They love their peace. The ladies are so preoccupied with engaging in that. They're so preoccupied with watching videos of the outlier women who actually can afford to be single and who are going to be maybe financially okay in their retirement age. Your average woman, especially the black ones, are so preoccupied with the gender war and with giving men, black men, the middle finger that they're not looking 20 and 25 years out and realizing, wait a minute, I only made $40,000 last year, $38,000 last year, $45,000 last year, $48,000 last year. I don't have anything in retirement. I'm already 38 years old, 35 years old, 42 years old. Am I going to be able to afford? Okay, fine. Let's be generous. They're going to get Social Security. Am I going to be able to afford my life with my Social Security and wait? Oh, that's it. I don't have a job that gave me pension. My 401k is not enough. They match me with whatever money or whatever drop program where I work another 3 years after retirement and they're going to give me 200,000, 250, 300. I don't have that type of program at my job. Even if I was to stay here for until I retire, assuming I don't get let go, assuming that the economy doesn't shift. Mr. Z is being extremely generous right now with the outcomes, and they're still not going to have it. Huh? Yeah. Z, how are you tying this to this? If 52% of young men are saying, I can't afford you, I can't afford it, I can't afford to date, do we appreciate what that means for all of us in America? For all of us, married or not, children or not, particularly for us as black men, right? Dating is getting more expensive, and men say it's starting to, because I can't see the word behind that, but we'll just keep on going. Men say it's starting to affect their ability to pursue relationships. Recent surveys show that about 52% of young men say say they can't afford to date, citing rising cost of living, housing, and traditional dating expectations, which means he pays, right? Like paying for dinners, activities, and transportation With inflation driving up everyday expenses, money increasingly becoming a major barrier to modern dating, some researchers say this financial pressure is contributing to fewer relationships, delayed marriage, and declining dating participation among adults. The bigger question now is the cost of living quietly reshaping the entire dating market. Source: Dating and Financial Stress Surveys from Pew Research Center and Relationship Trend. Let me take that banner off. Relationship Trend Reports. In other words, this ain't no penny, any, nothing, man on the street interview. No offense to the man on the street interviews. Y'all actually doing the Lord's work. This is no regular research agency, no name research agency. This is Pew Research. Huh? And shout out to Pew Research. We know sometimes they be saying stuff. We be like, what the hell are you talking about? But yeah, the bigger question now is the cost of living quietly reshaping the entire dating market. The answer is yes. That was a rhetorical question, right? Like, are y'all playing? No. Recent surveys show that about 52% of young men say that they can't afford to date, citing rising cost of living, housing, and traditional dating expectations like paying for dinners, activities, and transportation. Yeah. Huh? Yes, young lady, you're right. The men are moving accordingly.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women right now. You need to be focusing on yourself and getting your life together so that that doesn't bother you.
So that doesn't bother you. And the young men said, we heard you and we are moving accordingly. The young men said, we heard you and we are moving accordingly. Sounds nice. And this is AI generated, so we'll take it with a grain of salt, but still. 2026 data from the Institute of Family Studies, 52% of young men cite financial constraints as the primary barrier to dating. Huh? Exacerbated by rising inflation and high cost for activities, which average nearly $189 per date. I wonder where they're getting that number from, but fine. $189 per date. This, quote, dating recession, I think it says, is causing young adults to date less, with 45% reporting that past breakups make them reluctant to start new relationships. Yeah. Huh? Wow. Huh? Tunnel Runner is saying, simple math, brothers. $75,000 a year puts you in the 1% in Colombia. Tunnel Runner saying, leave these women out here to fend for and fight for. Name the tall, good-looking, well-off guy, probably Idris Elba built. Huh? Or Henry Cavill built. Huh? Tunnel Runner said, leave them to be single with their rose toy or fighting for the elite dude or getting thrashed by the guys 20 and 25 years younger than them that work in the mailroom. Huh? Their little boy toy for a season. Oh boy. Tunnel Runner said, don't get into it. Leave them be. Go find you a woman from overseas that will value you. Yes, she's going to be hypergamous also, but her hypergamy bar is still on planet Earth. It's not in another galaxy universe. Huh? Oh boy. And you still got to vet her. As Charles Faulkner has said, don't be red pill for black women and blue pill for non-black women. Mr. Z takes that and expands on it and say, don't be red pill for black women in America and then blue pill for non-black women in America and blue pill for foreign women. There is no panacea. Once again, there is no panacea. All you are doing is attempting to alleviate the pain, the impossibility, because these modern, and y'all know Mr. Z don't like to say modern women, but these modern women in America, in particular, across the West, across the developed world, are impossible. Leave them be. Just be prepared to fight to keep your hard-earned money and resources, because most of them will not be, they can't afford their life now. They will not be able to afford their life in retirement. They're going to be looking. If you think the boomers took all the money off the table, wait until the mid-age Xers and younger start getting to retirement age. I'm talking about the women in specific. They don't earn enough. They go and try to bankrupt the system as senior citizens. Y'all heard it here first. Because too many of them never had children. Once you start getting to younger Xers, mid-age Xers, maybe even something, because what Vivica A. Fox is 60. Once you start getting to that type of age, that's when you start getting women who maybe had one child, if any. Vivica A. Fox, remember, and we're just using this celebrity as an example because this is a name that we know. No kids. Claudia Jordan, no kids. Taraji B. Henson, one child. Regina Hall, no kids. The other Regina, one son who self-deleted. Rest in peace. Yeah, and I'm using these celebrities once again to paint the picture. Tracy Ellis Ross, no kids. These are all Gen Xers, everyone. Gen X celebrities. And Tracy Ellis Ross is a prime example. Mother, what, 5 kids? Married how many times? 3 times? Tracy Ellis Ross, no children. We know her sisters and her brothers have a couple of kids each, but none of them is perfect, because Tracy Ellis Ross has millennial and Gen X siblings. And none of them have as many children as Diana Ross. Perfect example right there. Exactly. So let's be very clear. They don't have it. They're looking for elite men now. Most of them are never, and when I say most, I don't mean 51% most, I mean 90% most, are never going to be in serious relationship with that man because he's rare. They might, yes, Regina King, that was the other Regina, thank you. Right? Regina Hall and Regina King. Both of them are childless. Regina King, her situation is a bit different. I'm not going to make fun of her. We don't do that on this channel. Right? But let's be clear. Regina Hall and Regina King are known in the Black community. Both of them are fairly attractive and definitely were fairly attractive when they were younger. One of them had one child. One of them had no kids. And well, continuing. We're going to play it again. This is the anchor video, the reference video for today. Right? And shout out to all of you who came in early, who thought Mr. Z wasn't going to be here. I still was about 5 or so minutes late, but didn't think Mr. Z was going to be on time. Mr. Z on time today? A little tardy. A little tardy. Continuing.
Look at here, look at here. Y'all keep coming with the excuses. They say 52% of young men say they can't afford to date. Money is now the number one barrier to finding love. I paused intentionally because the excuses just keep on coming. Why is it that a man can't use his brain and be creative and think of great ways to take a woman out without spending the bank? Because let me tell you something, fellas, if you only taking a woman out that only wants you because you're spending money, that's probably a great indicator in dating that she might not be the one for you. Here in Detroit, we have a river walk where you could take a woman right to the river walk, have a great time, talking about life, talking about goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And that can be probably the most memorable date that you both have ever been on. But you sitting up here trying to have $200 dates for what? If you ain't got that kind of bank, you shouldn't be trying to do that. And if that woman requires that, then she's just not the woman for you. Some of y'all going over and beyond for women that never even wanted you in the first place. If she only with you for a free meal, that's already giving you a clear indicator she's not the one for you. So stop the excuses. Stop all the mess. Finances, I understand the economy is bad, but when has it not? Every generation had to deal with the economy, and every last one of them complained about money. So that can't be the reason. The truth is, you're not trying to be creative, and you're probably going after women that don't want you, and that's on you. You have to take accountability, fellas. Just like you say women should too. I love my fellas, but start thinking smart, because if I was a boy mom, I would be telling my son these type of things, and you guys should already know this. So love yourself enough to know. Go out with a woman that really is thinking about a future, really thinking about how she can build, because a woman that's looking to build, she's not looking to spend all your money on the first few dates. She's looking to actually build with someone that can grow wealth together. Think about it, fellas. Be creative out there. I love y'all, fellas, and you know I love my ladies.
All of that sound nice, right? Go out with someone who really likes you and all of this stuff about free dates. And by the way, Mr. Z doesn't disagree with her. But what does the current environment say? And what does even a woman say about the current environment? Continuing, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
Going for dinner and drinks may not be as innocent as you might think. A study published in the Society for Personality and Social Psychology found that up to a third of women go on dates just for the free food. Aww. They call these foodie calls. When someone has no romantic interest in their date, they're going strictly for the food. All right, we asked our viewers if you've ever done this. Have you ever gone on a date just for free food? 23% of you have gone on a foodie call. You said yes. Say it isn't so, Dr. Batra.
I mean, it sounds like what? A fourth to a third of women are admitting to this, which usually means even more are doing it. So
have you ever done it?
And a third of men expect to have sex if they buy you dinner.
Well, so that's the really interesting thing. So the reason, perfect segue, I've never done this, is because whenever someone pays for you, there's an expectation. So I think women just think, oh, I'm going to go. It's going to be this great meal. And the guy's like, I just paid big bucks. I expect a return on my investment. So you have to be really careful.
Hopefully this is all a
You
bit
damn
more
right.
And it's, oh, I don't love the guy that much, but you never know. And hey, secondary gain, a free meal.
Thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't have that problem anymore.
maybe you go on a date, make a foodie call, but you find out you really like the person.
Huh? You damn right. Even the woman, white woman, said, hey, these men expect a return on their investment. But isn't that the cat and mouse? Isn't that part of the exploitation? Isn't that part of the game? I'm going to use him for the dinner. Don't find him that attractive. Don't find him that appealing. Don't find him that interesting. But I'll use him for the dinner. And hopefully I can get out clean without having to touch him. And maybe I won't be seen in public with him outside the restaurant or outside the parking lot of the restaurant. Huh? Maybe I do this 1 or 2 or 3 times, and by the time it's time to, pay that return on investment, I could just find a reason to end it. That's the cat and mouse game the women are engaging in. That is the cat and mouse game the women are engaging in. I'll go on the first date, maybe a second, maybe a third, 4, 5. That's about the time, 3 to 5. That's your average, man. is expecting to, get that return on investment. Some of y'all, we know how it go. Ain't no date. Well, let's see what you got right now, huh? For a few of you, it's after that first date, especially if I drop some real money. But on average, 3 to 5 dates, huh? And that's when the ladies will find a way to be like, well, you didn't hold my door open all the way, and yeah, you didn't push my chair in the right way. You used the wrong fork. That's the game. When it's about time for that return on investment, the women will find a way to blow up that situation. Huh? Oh, man. Exactly. Mr. Shook to you says, what is a date? Hysterical. Trell says, date, question mark. That's what the professionals call their experiences. Hysterical. Huh? You damn right. And madam, as a matter of fact, there's something else that she said that we definitely got to address. Let's play it again.
Going for dinner and drinks may not be as innocent as you might think. A study published in the Society for Personality and Social Psychology found that up to a third of women go on dates just for the free food.
Aww.
They call these foodie calls. When someone has no romantic interest in their date, they're going strictly for the food.
Yikes.
All right, we asked our viewers if you've ever done this. Have you ever gone on a date just for free food? 23% of you have gone on a foodie call. You said yes. Say it isn't so, Dr. Batra.
I mean, it sounds like what? A fourth to a third of women are admitting to this, which usually means even more are doing it. So.
That is a white woman, as Mr. Z has said before. If a fourth to a third, because we've heard about a third of women admit to it, and they did a poll in the studio. Mr. Z could use poll now. Survey poll in the studio asked women, and what women admitted to, they said people, what women admitted to, 23%, so a quarter of them admitted to it in studio. And as that white woman said, that usually means it's more. That's a white woman telling you, yeah, if a quarter to a third of y'all are saying y'all have engaged in this, then it's really like 50%. Mr. Z says more like 75, 85, 90%. Uh-oh. Huh? Today's stream. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I'm going to be reading your super chats in a minute. Today's stream is titled Pricing the Box Out the Game. Men heard you and are moving accordingly.
Look at here, look at here. Y'all keep coming with the excuses. They say 52% of young men say they can't afford to date. Money is now the #1 barrier to finding love.
Once again, pricing the box out the game. Men heard you and are moving accordingly. When you speak like this, ladies, the men, especially the young men, because many people don't appreciate, and that's why I'm careful when I speak and I tell the young men, have your experiences. You're going to get your heart broken. You're good. Appreciate a couple of us, not even a couple of us get out somewhat clean. Most of us are going to be used in some way, shape, or form. Huh? Mr. Z doesn't want the young men to be jaded. They didn't even have real experiences. They barely even kissed a woman. They haven't had XXX fun, right? Mr. Z doesn't want these young men jaded already. Cautious, observant, vigilant, yes. Huh? But guarded? Careful? Yes. With that, the young men hear the young women. The minors of dating age hear their female counterparts. They hear the older young women. They hear the older women. They hear them. The young men hear the women. They see and hear clips like this on the internet.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make $50,000, but you live in a shoe, and now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's gonna date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have that expectation, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts, because eventually you're gonna want to run. Because she doesn't stretch you. She doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be the stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Be cutting up. You talk about me.
Huh? The young men see these clips there. The algorithm, yes, it pushes it, but also the women are just so loud. And not only is it the internet and social media, young men, particularly in the Black community, this is how their mom speaks. Their mother speaks like this. Their aunt speak like this. Some of their grandmothers speak like this. The women around the way speak like this. The young men hear this, and they are moving accordingly. So yes, we gonna play it again.
Look at here. Y'all keep coming with the excuses. They say 52% of young men say they can't afford to date. Money is now the #1 barrier to finding love.
Yes. The young men heard the young women. They heard the middle-aged women. They heard the older women. They've seen the movies. They've heard the music. They've watched the television shows. They watch the pop the balloons. They know of it. They've seen, even if they're not searching for it, the pop the balloon clips pop up. Huh? They've seen the memes. They know. They're moving accordingly. They know even the feminists are full of crap.
I was like, oh, this is going to make feminism look bad. Welcome to the Bell Hooks Book Club! Just as it was misguided for reformist feminist thinkers to see freedom as simply women having the right to be like powerful patriarchal men, so it was simplistic to imagine that the liberated man would simply become a woman in drag. Yet this was the model of freedom offered men by mainstream feminist thought. Men were expected to hold on to the ideas about strength and providing for others that were a part of patriarchal thought, while dropping their investment in domination and adding an investment in emotional growth. This vision of feminist masculinity was so fraught with contradictions, it was impossible to realise. No wonder then that men who cared, who were open to change, often just gave up, falling back on the patriarchal masculinity they found so problematic. The individual men who did take on the mantle of a feminist notion of male liberation did so only to find that few women respected this shift. Once the new man, that is the man changed by feminism, was represented as a wimp, as overcooked broccoli dominated by powerful females who were secretly longing for his macho counterpart, masses of men lost interest. So I'm very aware that I live in a bit of a bubble with this stuff. The people who I grew up with and the people who I now like to spend time with as an adult are all pretty committed to anti-patriarchal values and principles, like properly. Like most of my female friends genuinely don't want a protector or a provider. They don't want any of the patriarchal stuff. They're not doing this halfway house thing. But like I say, I know that that's a bubble. And I know that if I just look a centimetre past the bubble, I can quite clearly see that there are a lot of women in the world who really uphold this standard of patriarchal masculinity in overt ways.
Message!
And covert ways. And a lot of these women have kind of melded this with the idea of feminism in a way that I find really annoying. Like a few years ago, I came across this idea for the first time that actually it's feminist to expect the man to pay on a date because men on average earn more than women on average, and women on average spend more on makeup and their looks and stuff, and that's why it's actually good to expect men to pay on a date. And I was really disappointed.
Message!
I really was. I was like, oh, this is gonna make feminism look bad. And it just felt so like unradical, you know, like I to be clear, I'm not a rad femme, I'm not a radical feminist, but I do think all feminism should be radical and should be pushing against the tired gender norms of the 1950s. And these ideas that I find very problematic have been really amplified by social media, and they have become very much associated with feminism, despite the fact that many of us find it quite repugnant. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people who follow feminist values and feminist principles are actually struggling with the label of feminist. It's something I'm definitely grappling with, and I've seen that some people who I'm connected with on social media have posted videos about it. You know, basically saying like it's too hard. It's hard saying I'm a feminist and then having to go, oh, but I'm not a rad femme, and I'm not a TERF, and oh no, I'm not one of those ones that secretly actually upholds patriarchy in XYZ way. It's really difficult.
Which is almost all of them.
I feel really confident saying I'm a feminist because I know what that word means to the people in that circle. But there are so many other circles where I know if I say I'm a feminist, it could mean 20 different things in that circle, and they're not necessarily wrong for thinking that because they're going on the internet and seeing people making these videos and getting hundreds of thousands of likes, you know? And I do think that if we're looking at like the whole of the UK, for example, that yeah, the majority of women do still cling on to patriarchal standards of masculinity. They do want this kind of
message,
you know, a modern man who's emotionally evolved, but also, you know, still having that protector and provider thing. I remember seeing a video a while ago of someone who was upset basically that every man she ever dated kind of laughed at her when she would try and invite them into softness with her. And she was kind of saying, why can't the men in my life embrace softness? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then she said, you know, why can't he be my protector but also be soft with me? And I really felt for her because for me, from my perspective,
this is why Mr. Z speaks of capitalism, late stage capitalism, neoliberal capitalism, plus feminism. Third wave and beyond feminism, really second wave feminism. What did it bring? What did it bought? Huh? What has it caused? And what this feminist just described to you is that the women want their autonomy, but they want it subsidized. Quite frankly, they need it subsidized. That's what the clip that I played from Kevin Samuels when he was speaking about South Korea, that's what it is. All those single cat ladies, all of those single childless Korean women are enjoying their autonomy now. But they already know they're in their late 30s, mid 30s, their early 40s. But they already know that they're going to need to be subsidized in their retirement ages, in their senior citizen ages. That's when the costs come. That's the subsidized. Once again, their autonomy is what they're living now. The subsidized is what they need in the future to make up for the autonomy. Huh? To make up for not being on a man's program, a South Korean man's program, huh? They need to be subsidized in the future. When Mr. Z says patriarchy by feminist specifications, they're living the feminism now. They need to be subsidized by the patriarchal system in the future. I'm arguing that is what the case will be for Xers and younger, because the money's with the boomers. And as they pass away, and as the Xers become more and more retirement age, senior citizens, you're going to see all of the women who didn't have children, who worked regular jobs like most of us. They're going to need to be subsidized. And that's when they're going to start lobbying. That's when they're going to start crying. The women who had 1 or 2 kids are going to lean on their children heavy. You already see it now with some of the boomers. Oops. Heavy. Particularly in the Black community. At least for the boomer women, they had 1 or 2 or 3 kids. They live in with one of the kids. The other kids are sliding them a couple of dollars. The one kid they live with is sliding them a couple of dollars, or she's using whatever money she got from retirement or 401k or whatever program to pay a few bills at the house. Or she might have her kids living with her. And they're paying some bills at the house. And the last thing she wants is for them to move out. Shout out to all of you who saying, God damn, some of these millennials, you in your damn early 40s, your late 30s, you still living at home with your mom. Y'all looking at the mom like, kick him out, kick her out. she can't afford to. Oops. Who told you that that boomer woman could afford for her kid to move out? Y'all never thought about that, huh? Oops. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's a codependent relationship. The children need her because they can't afford apartments and homes, and she need them because she can't afford them bills by herself. Not now that she retired. Uh-oh. How many relationships between son and mother, daughter and mother did I just expose just now? And I'm not just talking about the black women either. Oops. White women, Latinas, step up front. Especially you Latinas. We know black women doing it. Latinas. How many of y'all want to admit that? Oops. You wonder why Hector is 37 years old, still living with his mom. Y'all think he's just a mama's boy. He is. But mom can't afford that house by herself, that apartment by herself. Oops. Huh? Y'all think Tyrone is just a lazy bum. He might be, but mom can't afford that spot by herself. Huh? Yeah. At least for boomers and the oldest of Xers, they have a child to lean on. They have children to lean on. They're not complete burdens on the system. They are, but not completely. And at least they had the next generation of tax-paying citizens. Once you start getting to some of their younger siblings and their younger cousins, the mid-age and late Xers, the millennials, and some of the Xers children, the Gen Zs, oh, those women say, I ain't having no kids. All right, watch this. Huh? Yeah. The ladies priced the box out the game. The men heard them and are moving accordingly. And it sounds good for the women to talk like this.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women right now. You need to be focusing on yourself and getting your life together so that that doesn't bother you.
The women are sounding like that now. It sounds good now. Huh? It sounds good now. And they're listening to their sistren who might be doing okay-ish in life, right? Or better, they're listening to their sistren who are outliers talk like that.
Men need to date within their tax bracket and stop getting mad that the woman they want has high standards. You don't walk into a luxury store and get mad that the prices are high. You can either build up your money and wait to buy what you want or shop where you can afford. Dating works the same way. A woman with high standards makes insecure men feel uncomfortable, not because they're asking for too much, but because she reminds them of what they haven't built yet. If you want to appeal to a high standard woman, focus on building your income, your discipline, your purpose, and self-respect. Build yourself up to attract the standard of woman you desire.
All of that sound nice. All of that sound nice. Assuming this young lady is doing well financially. Her poor sistren, her middle class, lower middle class sistren, her working class sistren are listening to women like her. Huh? And it's going to devastate them. It's already devastating them. That's why this young lady spoke like that.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women right now. You need to be.
Notice she didn't discount it. She didn't say it's not true. She tried to shame him and other men, black men, for not being the ultra provider. Notice, not for their wife. Not even for a girlfriend, but she said it. She read the comment and he was saying, why does every woman I meet, play it again, Z.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs.
He's not necessarily dating them yet. At least that's not what the indication was. He's not in a relationship with them yet. He hasn't had triple X fun with them yet. This is not a long-term relationship. This is not marriage. If the women are struggling now, we're not talking about in your early 20s. You're supposed to struggle financially, unless your parents got it like that, or they're subsidizing you all the way. You're supposed to be struggling financially in your early 20s, maybe even in your mid 20s, possibly for some of us late bloomers in your later 20s. But if the women are struggling in their early 30s, mid 30s, what does that portend? What does that mean? What projection do you have for that? They're going to stay struggling financially. Mr. Z is not even making fun of the women for that. I'm not mocking them for that. I'm not laughing at them for that. They're not on a man's program, though. Oops. They're listening to all these get the bad girl women. Huh? You know who they're listening to?
This is what I tell average looking and below average looking women. If you can't date up, be alone. Life is easier that way. And I know that's controversial. I don't care. I don't care.
Huh? Sounds good. But it cost. Huh? It cost. So you have the young lady, she's not disagreeing. She's trying to shame the young man. She's trying to shame the man and other men that think like him for saying it. She's saying, protect, provide, and shut up. Play it again, Z.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women right now. You need to be focusing on yourself and getting your life together so that that doesn't bother you.
And what she's saying?
I miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Huh? Yeah. And Compassionate says, millennials are the first generation who's getting broker as we age. There's been a theme on my stream for years, but really I started ramping it up little by little over the past couple years. It's the elites. Many of y'all met me through BGS. Y'all met me through the Roger Report. One of the first times I ever spoke on the Roger Report's channel, I mentioned dream hoarders. And Dr. Richard Reeves wasn't necessarily talking about marriage and coupling, intimate relationship between men and women. Definitely wasn't focused on the Black community in that way. But just based off of the interviews I saw and the lectures that he gave about the book, I already knew what that meant for your everyday American, particularly your salt of the earth, everyday Black American. Huh? Speaking to what Compassion is saying right here. When you have this wealth stratification, and it's happening so quickly in millennials' face, in younger Xers' face, in Gen Z's face, where for the first time in how many decades, in a century maybe, the unemployment rate for college educated folks is higher than that for non-college educated. What I am presenting to everyone is this is the cost of modernity, but it's also the cost of allowing for the uber wealthy to take all the money off the goddamn table. Huh? That is what's happening. Huh? And yes, it's going to affect your relationships, number one, but number two, it it's also affecting the way the women view the world, the way they view their own station, the desperation and the sense of urgency, the sense of now, the frantic, feral way you see them speaking to men. They need it and they need it now. The fear, I get it. That's why y'all don't see me necessarily always dance and mock and make fun of them. Because this energy right here,
niggas be so quick to let me take you on a trip. Let me take you on a trip. Pay a fucking bill. Pay a bill. Pay a goddamn bill.
Always begging. Damn.
Can we get on the phone? No, get on the phone with billing. Don't talk to me. Talk to billing.
that energy right there is informed by desperation, everyone. And excuse my background. That is informed by desperation. Let's be clear. The women do look at the men as nothing but a walking ATM machine, overglorified guard dog, and the occasional rose toy. Yes, with that sense of desperation, oh yeah, the environment broke the knob on that. Huh? When you mix that wealth hoarding of a late stage capitalist society, neoliberal society, winner take all, as in Anand Girgadas said, the winners take all society, and you couple that with third wave plus feminism, oh, that's a ugly mix. Yeah, the women are starving, the masses of them, white, black, Latina, maybe even a couple of Asians, less so South Asians, more so East Asians, but even a couple of Asians. Yeah, they still living at home with their parents, not to save money, but because they can't afford to move out. Yes, into their 30s, maybe even 40s. Yes, but the feminism part of it all says, hey, don't give your autonomy away for anything. Don't give your autonomy away to these bum dudes. If you gonna give your autonomy away, yes, this is how they rationalize it, then it better be to the highest bidder, right? Give your autonomy away to the highest bidder. Yeah. And so your birth rate continues to decline. Your tax base continues to decline. Your military age men continue to decline. Yeah. Huh? Mr. Z, on this channel, I will continue to speak about these things on a macro sense. Yeah, we gonna talk about the micro, and yes, we're gonna use pop culture and celebrity gossip and the goings on in the celebrity world. We might poke fun, we might get our 5 chuckles in here and there occasionally, but there's a macro issue at play here, a societal issue at play here. Sarge Willie Pete is 100% right. The young folks don't got no damn money, and there is deleterious the trickle down effects of that. You want to talk about trickle down economy? The downstream effects of that is going to harm everyone or nearly everyone. Huh? So notice Mr. Z's not necessarily getting his 5 chuckles in at the expense of the ladies. Although it's too easy. Oh, it's too easy. And some of them warrant it and deserve it. Uh-oh. Wasn't supposed to say that out loud. Huh? But that desperation from that young lady, oh, that's not fake.
Niggas be so quick to let me take you on a trip. Let me take you on a trip. Pay a fucking bill. Pay a bill. Pay a goddamn bill.
Always begging. Damn.
Can we get on the phone? No, get on the phone with billing. Don't talk to me. Talk to billing.
Huh? Yeah. Pricing the box out the game. Men heard you. Men heard the ladies. Men heard the women and are moving accordingly. You damn right. Huh? All the ladies talking like this.
If you can't afford a woman's lifestyle, then date within your budget.
Sounds good. Huh? Little snarky, smug, sassy. Yeah, she's not from the US. Message still the same. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, she's not from the US, but the message is still the same. That is the message across the developed world, air quotes developed world, the first world problems. Yes, this is luxury beliefs. And as the economy changes in Europe, as the economy changes in America, the ladies are going to feel that. Huh? This is a luxury belief. It sounds good. Especially with the smug she put on it. That little bit of UK British swag on it. Sounds good. Sounds empowering. Shout out to the ladies. Not all of you gonna feel it, but most of you will. That cold embrace of the environment as you age. Huh? Yeah. But it doesn't end there. Continuing.
Obviously, you want $6 a month, but not many people are earning that.
Yeah.
Like, not many people make 6 racks a month. I think only 1% of the people in UK are earning like 100 grand a year.
It's 5%. It's 5%.
It's 5%.
And
That's still low though.
5% is like 2.3 million people in the UK.
Yeah, but that's still not a lot of people, and a majority of them are over 40 or 40 and
I
over.
didn't put an age restriction on this. I didn't mention age. What, 40 is not that old.
Sounds like she wants a sugar daddy, man. You deal with a 40-year-old man?
Yeah, if he was handsome.
He was 10 when he was born.
So? That doesn't bother me.
Head's missing. Firstly, I want to say, yeah, that's unrealistic.
It's not unrealistic. I don't like the word unrealistic because there's a lot of people that live that as a real life. It might be uncommon, especially to certain demographics of people and certain people, the way they live their life and who they surround themselves with. But in where I'm from and the people I surround myself, it's quite normal. So yes, might be unrealistic for a lot of people. It's not an unrealistic thing for me, actually. It's quite bare minimum. But who is it unrealistic for?
Someone like within our
bare minimum again.
But that's not true because I know a lot of people in our age bracket that earn more than that.
What are they doing?
A lot of things.
No one that's working a 9 to 5 is earning 6 grand a month. Yeah, and if they are, they're getting taxed.
Stop saying, oh, 6 grand, 6 grand. She's out of your price. I am out of your price bracket. Yeah, you can't afford me. You were never gonna date me anyway. Go work harder. Get your money up. See you later.
I don't agree with that. We're not on the same wavelengths.
I need stability. I need comfort. I need to be feminine.
Oh, you gotta like it. You gotta love the smug, the arrogance, the hubris. You gotta love it. Oh, they revel in it. They love it. They love being smug and sassy. They love being condescending. Huh? Oh, she revels in it. Don't forget this video from the other day because she's not the only one.
First things you said in the show, before I knew anything about you, you said, I want my man to provide. I want a traditional relationship. But the truth is, we are not in a traditional environment.
This is very true.
So before I knew anything about you, I knew what you wanted from me. And that's kind of a turnoff.
Why?
I didn't know anything about you and anything about your personality, anything about what you like. It's just that What can you give me?
Yeah, I don't really want to like downgrade my life.
I mean, but you said I want a man that can take care of me.
Yeah, I want a
take
man
care
that
of
wants to do it though.
I mean, of course, a man wants to do it, but
not
when
all
that's
men
the
want
first
to do
thing
it.
you say, and that's the first thing you say,
Mhm.
it's kind of like,
Cause I ain't wasting my time no more. You feel me? I like to tell people what I'm looking for, so no one's confused. I'd rather be an
why
open
not
book.
tell them about who you are as a person?
Oh yeah, we can do that on a friendship level. But if someone's approaching me like I want to date you, I'm gonna be like, okay, what do you want? The guy has to want to be a provider, or I'm not the girl for you.
But like I said, when that is the first topic of conversation, can you see how a man can kind of be a little off put by that?
I don't care. That's the problem.
And that's why you're still single.
They love it. The arrogance, the hubris, the condescending attitude, the smug, the sass, whether it's here in the US or in the UK, they get off on it. They jizz their panties talking like that. Leave them out here for eternity. Shout out to all the young men. Leave them out here for eternity. Both of these women that I played are still relatively young. They're not going to have an epiphany. Let's be very clear. To all the elders that are listening to Z and you think, Z, you sound so bitter and angry and oh my God, that's so sexist and you know, people change. Let's be very clear. They're not going to have an epiphany. They're not going to mature out of this. They're just going to feel the cold, hard embrace, maybe, of the world. Maybe. That doesn't mean that they had an epiphany. It doesn't mean that they had an awakening. They had a come to Jesus moment. It's just going to mean they're starving or struggling or not as comfortable as the lighter skinned young lady from the UK said. And they're going to need to be subsidized. That's not an epiphany. That's not an awakening. That's you running into the wall of life. That's you getting decked in the face by life. You didn't awaken. You got knocked on your ass. Huh? It's not an awakening. It will be desperation. It will be struggle, or at least not comfortable. Comfortable, right? Yeah. And Kinsing is saying, why does he continue to go back and forth? It's beautiful TV. We use this as a teachable moment for the young men to not go back and forth. Exhibit A. Why? Because she said everything that needed to be said at the end. What did she say? I don't care. It goes back to one of the oldest manosphere sayings. They don't care about your struggles. They don't care about your trials and tribulations. They don't care about the journey. They wait at the finish line and pick the winners. They don't care. And by the way, men, they don't owe you caring. I know it hurts. Young men, the women don't owe you caring. They don't owe you caring. But likewise, you don't owe them caring either. I'm not telling you to not care. I'm not telling you to lose your humanity and your sense of justice and kindness because these women are losers, bitter, angry, rude, sassy, smug. Goddamn, you gonna keep on going? Materialistic consumers, insane hubris, arrogant. I'm not telling you to lose your sense of self to get back at them, to make fun of them, to mock them, to Mike Jones back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all lonely them. I'm not saying that. Huh? Look at me now them. I'm not saying for you to engage in that. What I am saying though is appreciate the women are going to stay talking like this. They're going to be living with their children still talking like this. Their bag is going to have dust in it. They're still going to be talking like this. They're going to be struggling, putting on a fake smile at work, still talking like this. They're going to have a sugar daddy chipping them off. They're going to be 40 something getting chipped off by a 60 something year old sugar daddy. they're going to still be talking like this. Seeing we use this as teachable moments. So I agree with you. Why go back and forth with her? But it was great social media content because we get to use this as a teachable moment for the young men. The young lady said at the end, I don't care. You're trying to explain to her, not even just for you, but even for her, the environment and what that pertains for her and for other women like her. And she tells you, I don't care. Use that to move along and maneuver in the Black community, in society, in the Western world, air quotes, developed world, first world, and appreciate that the majority of women, regardless of race, ethnicity, background, do think like this. Some of them are a bit kinder than others. Some of them are more arrogant and boisterous and mean than others. I would argue, once again, the majority of them, it comes down to that. I don't care. If you meet one who does care, white, Black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise, but especially a Black woman, you grab her hand and you run for your life and vet her friends like your life depended on it, because it probably does. Huh? So we use this as teachable moments. And Kinsian says, okay, Mr. Z, my bad. No, brother. Thank you for the comment, because you gave me a chance to kind of explain that, right? You gave me a chance to explain that. As Vince says, no struggle, love, just struggle. Yeah. And let's read this from Els Active, and we're going to come around and start reading y'all super chats. Like, share, subscribe to the super chat, right? And Els Active says, LOL, this guy is a super street man schooling her on legitimate incomes. Let that sink in. But that lets you know how just she doesn't care and how out of touch she is. And Els Active is speaking about this.
Obviously, you want $6,000 a month, but not many people are earning that.
Yeah.
Like, not many people make 6 racks a month. I think only 1% of the people in UK are earning like 100 grand a year.
It's 5%. It's 5%.
It's 5%. That's
And
still
you know,
low though.
5% is like 2.3 million people in the UK.
Yeah,
You
but
know
that's still not a lot of people, and a majority of them are over 40 or 40 and
I
over.
didn't put an age restriction on this. I didn't mention age. What, 40 is not that old.
Sounds like she wants a sugar daddy, man. You deal with a 40-year-old man?
Yeah, if he was
He
handsome.
was 10 when he was born.
So? That doesn't bother me.
Head's missing. Firstly, I want to say, yeah, that's unrealistic.
It's not unrealistic. I don't like the word unrealistic because there's a lot of people that live that as a real life. It might be uncommon, especially to certain demographics of people and certain people, the way they live their life and who they surround themselves with.
That's a jab.
But in where I'm from and the people I surround myself, it's quite normal. So yes, might be unrealistic for a lot of people. It's not an unrealistic thing for me, actually. It's quite bare minimum. But who is it unrealistic for?
Someone like within our age bracket.
But that's not true, because
Someone
I know a
that's-
lot of people in our age bracket that earn more than that.
What are they doing?
A lot of things.
No one that's working a 9 to 5 is earning
I don't know
$6,000
any-
a
yeah,
month.
but-
And if they are, they're getting taxed.
Stop saying, oh, £6,000, she's out of your price. I am out of your price bracket. Yeah, you can't afford me. You were never going to date me anyway. Go work harder. Get your money up. See you later.
I don't agree with that. We're not on the same wavelengths.
I need stability. I need comfort. I need to be feminine.
Okay, the UK Lala Anthony / Nunu / Aisha Curry. As she was saying, Z, she looked like all three of them. She resembled all three of them. She looked like she could relate to either one of them. Either way, it's important that that brother said that. And what else Active was saying here, yeah, he's trying to school her as a street dude, and she doesn't care either. What did she say at the end? Get your money up. Get your money up. Dear men, as I agree with Jason Black 100%, dear Black Manosphere, all of you listening to Z right now, don't save her. She don't want to be saved. In the future, shout out to Project Pat, in the future, some of these women will not have those resources. And some of y'all will trick yourselves into believing she really rocking with you. You met her in her mid 40s, her late 40s, her early 50s. Oh boy, her late 50s, early 60s. Oh my God. And you think she riding with you? No, bro, she don't got it. She lived high life on earning her few dollars on social media, or being the booty call for whatever street dude in her neighborhood, or whatever corporate guy she was dealing with, whatever aspiring entertainer or guy in the background behind the entertainers that's still making some pretty okay money. She was living that life. Now she either got kicked off of Mount Olympus or just kind of aged out. And now she needs a sponsor. That's where you come in. Dear Black Manosphere, especially you young brothers. Mr. Z ain't gonna tell you what to do, but Mr. Z gonna tell you, hey, what to do. I don't think it's wise. Huh? If LeBron ain't trying to use her as a sneaky link in 20, 30 years, leave her ass out there. Not LeBron, Z. Huh? If Chris Brown ain't trying to use her as a sneaky link, well, he's single. In 20, 30 years, leave her ass out there. Leave her to go live with her niece and nephew because she ain't have no kids. Leave her out there to go find a roommate similar age as her so they could do their Golden Girls thing. Huh? Leave her ass out there. They talk crazy. Shout out to Golden Girls. Yes, L's active. That brother was trying to tell her, hey, the numbers, I mean, and what did she say? What a lot of women say in certain tax brackets. The people I know, the spaces I'm in, she's calling him and other men, black men like him, bums. She's calling black UK people bums, but, huh? Yeah, exactly. And I'm awful says, is she 30? He said he would have been 10 years when she was born. Yeah. I'm thinking 30, right? Yeah. Huh? Hey, Saint Cyr, I'm just saying. If you didn't know, Pusha T put his ass out there on a song years ago. I still have that song somewhere on a playlist. I'm just saying. Savannah was like, no, we got to get out of here. You wilding out too much. You and your mom. Oops. Damn it, Z. I'm just saying. You and your mom wilding. We got to get out of here. Oh, let me stop because LeBron have a tendency to make sure you don't got no money you cross him the wrong way. Yeah, we don't know what political ties LeBron got. Once again, today's title is Pricing the Box Out the Game. Men heard you and are moving accordingly. Huh? What the young lady was speaking to about that 52%, men are human beings. Boys are human beings. Young men are human beings. Middle-aged men are human beings. Older men and more seasoned men, are human beings. Do these men have a problem paying for dates, subsidizing a bit, being the primary breadwinner? I would argue no. The problem becomes when women, young women, middle-aged women, older women, seek to exploit men. When they look at men as nothing but walking wallets and overglorified guard dogs, walking ATM machines. When all of a man's humanity and manhood is wrapped up in resource provision, particularly at the highest level. Being overly generous with his resources. Because, air quotes, that's what a man is supposed to do. A real man. Huh? And for young women, they're admitting that they're doing this for the attention and the likes on social media.
Ever like date a black guy, or have you dated a black guy?
No, absolutely not. When you approached me, did you think you could like afford my lifestyle? I'm a bougie girl. I like extremely expensive things. Like, can you do that for me? Like Chanel bags and, you know, paid vacations, stuff like that.
That's cool. So buy it for yourself, you know?
Why would I spend my own money on that? You're approaching a beautiful woman. The least you can do is like afford my lifestyle.
What are you bringing to the table?
I mean, look at me.
I'm looking.
Can you pay my rent? Can you take me to nice vacations with my girls?
But what about me being a nice guy, being caring, loyal?
I don't understand what you're saying. I just want to live my Instagram lifestyle. You can drop me off to dinner.
No,
you said you were going to take me.
I'm not taking you anywhere. You can go ahead and get the fuck out of my car. How about that? You want YouTube being a gold digger? Get
not a gold digger.
You are. So now the whole world about to see you being a gold digger.
Once again, assuming that is not a skit, she told you, I'm trying to do it for the gram. For Instagram, I want to be seen. I want to show off to whoever's following me. All the women and the girls following me on social media, I need to show them, because this is how I judge my value. I judge my value on what a man is doing for me. Okay, fine. Okay. And how I can exploit him and use him to show that I'm of this level, I'm at this level. So any man that comes snooping around knows he needs to maintain this life or more. And any woman needs to know, I'm yitch, I'm that yitch. Look at what I got a man doing for me. Huh? And shout out to the young lady for actually just saying it. I need to stunt on the gram. I need to show off on the gram. I need to step on these other 304s on the gram. I need these yitches to know that they're not on my level. And I need you to fund it. Oh boy. Huh? And what does this extreme status competition lead to? God damn it, Z.
This is why everyone is single and men stop trying. This is the mouse paradise, a scientific experiment from the 1960s. They made the perfect world for mice with unlimited food, safety, and no predators. In the beginning, they placed 4 females and 4 males and let them multiply. The population exploded, hundreds, then thousands. Then something strange happened. They stopped mating. And within 4 years, they were extinct. But why? According to scientists, the reason was social interaction overload, just like humans on social media today. They were in 24/7 interaction with thousands of others. Too much stimulation, too much competition for social status, and this led them to lose the ability to form bonds, to mate and raise their young. Many males became so-called the beautiful ones. They lost interest in females. They just groomed themselves all day and withdrew completely because they could not compete in this chaos anymore. And the females followed by losing interest in males. So no mating, and they all just died without having babies. Since 2010, smart.
Yep. Huh? Absolutely. Yep. Sounds about right. Right? You're going to keep on having this issue because the ladies price their box out the game. $43,000 a year median in America salary. $64,000 a year average in America salary. And the ladies price their vagina out the game.
Functionally, all salary data in the United States is worthless for a few reasons. Ultra-high earners heavily skew national averages upwards, which is why the average salary in this country is $64,000 a year, despite the median being 43. But even that 43...
Huh? Yeah. And what does that lead to?
60% of 30-year-olds used to have at least one child 40 years ago. Now it's 27%. They can't afford to. And also when you have a lot of young men who aren't economically viable, we don't like to have an honest conversation about mating. Men mate socioeconomically, horizontally and down, women horizontally and up. Beyonce could work at McDonald's and marry Jay-Z. The opposite is not true. 75% of women say economic viability is key to a mate, only 25% of men. So when men are not doing well economically, we have an absence of mating. We have an absence of what is the opportunity to do the most rewarding thing in the world, and that is build a family where you get to that point of building something with someone else. It's tough on women, but it is absolutely disastrous for men. It just makes me very upset and rattled to think that the most rewarding thing in my life is effectively off limits. Marriage is the new luxury item. 4/5 of people in the top quintile of income-earning households get married. Only 1 in 5 men in the lowest quintile ever have an opportunity to mate. Only 80% of women have reproduced in our species on the planet, only 40% of men. Women are disproportionately and unfairly evaluated on their aesthetics. Men are unfairly and disproportionately evaluated on their economic viability. And a society collapses on itself because those men get angry, and the most dangerous person in the world is a lonely, broke young man.
I want to push back on Mr. Galloway just a bit. What he is proposing, I think it can happen. It's a possibility. Violent young men in particular who are actually repressed, right? Who don't have any children, don't see a possibility of having children. The women have priced their vagina out the game. Cool. Price the box out the game. It can happen. But what I think will happen, and is already happening, is that these young men just self-medicate with corn, with video games, with online friendships and companionships with other men, right? With the occasional fun with whoever will answer the phone, if they can get someone to answer the phone, huh? The young men will become minimalist and just do their own thing, just enough to survive and subsist and engage with their hobbies. And that life will be fulfilling for them. The problem that America and society has is that those men will not be, quote, overproducing enough for society. Everything Mr. Z listed is not enough because those men would have not had children. Those men would not have to buy a 3 and 4 bedroom house with the 2-car garage, the car garage, the half moon driveway, right? Those men will not be buying new cars outside of buying a new car for themselves or a used car for themselves every 12 to 15 years. They don't need a new car every 4, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Huh? They're not going to have children. They're not going to subsidize a woman because she had his children. Huh? There goes your tax base. What I would argue is the men who don't have kids, who don't get married, appreciate that that's not going to happen with them, and they're going to move accordingly. They may not become a danger to society. They're just going to move accordingly. Huh? They're just going to move accordingly. And that's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world that they will move accordingly. Huh? Detroit says, is that Ben Stiller? I think so. I actually think so. Right? Oh, man. And Dominique says, the British lady is playing a character. You got to send me a link to whatever online character or whatever television show, whatever character you say she's playing. Right? Oh, boy. Remember, everyone, the anchor video and what we're referencing today, we're going to play it all the way out and continue and read y'all super chats. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. We are referencing and commenting on this.
Look at here, look at here. Y'all keep coming with the excuses. They say 52% of young men say they can't afford to date. Money is now the #1 barrier to finding love. I paused intentionally because the excuses just keep on coming. Why is it that a man can't use his brain and be creative and think of great ways to take a woman out without spending the bank? Because let me tell you something, fellas. If you only taking a woman out that only wants you because you're spending money, that's probably a great indicator in dating that she might not be the one for you. Here in Detroit, we have a river walk where you could take a woman right to the river walk, have a great time, talking about life, talking about goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And that can be probably the most memorable date that you both have ever been on. But you sitting up here trying to have $200 dates for what? If you ain't got that kind of bank, you shouldn't be trying to do that. And if that woman requires that, then she's just not the woman for you. Some of y'all going over and beyond for women that never even wanted you in the first place. If she only with you for a free meal, that's already giving you a clear indicator she's not the one for you. So stop the excuses, stop all the mess. Finances, I understand the economy is bad, but when has it not? Every generation had to deal with the economy, and every last one of them complained about money. So that can't be the reason. The truth is, you're not trying to be creative, and you're probably going after women that don't want you, and that's on you. You have to take accountability, fellas. Just like you say women should too. I love my fellas, but start thinking smart, because if I was a boy mom, I would be telling my son these type of things, and you guys should already know this. So love yourself enough to know. Go out with a woman that really is thinking about a future, really thinking about how she can build. Because a woman that's looking to build, she's not looking to spend all your money on the first few dates. She's looking to actually build with someone that can grow wealth together. Think about it, fellas. Be creative out there. I love y'all, fellas, and you know I love my ladies.
Meanwhile,
the wealthy will not marry you, and here's why. There's a term for this in economics, and it's called assortative mating. It's a tendency for people to marry others like themselves, high earners with high earners, college grads with college grads, and over the last few decades, the pattern has intensified. People don't choose partners from the entire population, they choose from people they actually meet. People from the same schools, same jobs, same cities. So marriage stops being random and becomes a lot more predictable. And this has consequences. Wealth doesn't come from income alone, it comes from stability, from two salaries instead of one, from shared risk, from access to better neighborhoods, better schools, and better networks. That's how advantage compounds. This is why today, who you marry matters almost as much as what you do, why upward mobility feels harder, and why effort alone is not enough to close the gap. Once assortative mating sets in, it reinforces itself. Children grow up in healthier homes, they get better education, they move to the same expensive cities, they meet people just like them, and they marry each other. So when people say anyone can make it, they're ignoring a part of the system that matters deeply. So if you feel like this economy isn't built for you, it's because in some ways it isn't. And it's not because we're failing as individuals. It's because wealth is concentrating two people at a time.
Meanwhile, this Latina Asian woman is telling other women, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You probably ain't gonna marry up like that. Why does she have to tell them that? Why does she feel the need to create this little think piece? This little video. Madam, the 52% of young men heard the ladies loud and clear. The ladies that sound like this.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Are you single?
Yes.
Why are you single right now?
Because the men are not enough rich to take care of me.
So you're looking for a rich man?
Yes. Yes, I want to be spoiled.
Why does he have to be rich?
Because I want to be spoiled. Because I make my own money and I need to be dominated.
Oh, man. Yeah. And Dominique says, it's a fake dating show where both sides say ridiculous things. She's talking about the UK clip. Okay, Dominique, send me a link, please, and thank you. But okay, taking what you're saying at face value, this is still a common sentiment, and we see women speak like this on Pop the Balloon. So let's say it is scripted. Let's say it's actors acting out a role. We see this sentiment expressed just like this, right? So it's not coming out of nowhere. It's not just acting out something fantastical that we don't actually see exhibited in real life, and that we don't see women playing out online that they're not actually joking about. They're not, it's not an act. This is their real feelings towards men, towards black men in specific. So I'll take what you're saying. Send me a link, emails in the description box, or you could put the link in the comments right now. Right. I'll take what you're saying at face value. I'll take it. Once again, though, that does not mean we haven't heard women speak just like her. Huh? And I'm Waffle says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. I'm Waffle says, I'm really sick of this pathologizing of young men. They can't help it. They cannot help it, bro. They cannot help it. We have completely rejiggered, the elites are using the women as a buffer class, but we have completely rejiggered society. We cannot, not us in the Black Minister, but we do not have the language to critique women's negative proclivities. Things that women tend to do more than men that might be antisocial. We do not have the language and the temperament, or we refuse to use the language that indicts women, or that at least critique and criticizes women for antisocial assessment of men, antisocial behavior, antisocial demeanor, sexism, misandry in its various forms directed towards men. This egalitarian world that we're supposedly trying to work towards. We refuse to critique women because we have pretty much said anything that is not worshiping, kissing ass, laudatory, congratulatory towards women is sexist. If you're not bigging up women every 5 seconds, if you're not bigging up and congratulating and kissing women's ass and being conciliatory in their space and throwing men under the bus in female spaces, then you are some sort of sexist, some sort of misogynist. Colorist, featurist, texturist, fatphobic, hate women, hate your mom, hate the feminine, insecure. And because that is the angle, especially on the left, but even on the right to a certain extent, critiquing women's bad behavior, you walking on thin ice because it's easy for you to be labeled some type of sexist. You're laundering red pill talking points and manosphere talking points and rhetoric behind critiquing an individual woman or women. That is how it's framed. So of course, the pathologizing of young men is easy. That's sanctioned. It's allowed. Now, critiquing women for not having children, being hyper consumers, not earning enough, being in debt, being mean, rude, and snarky, not being particularly pleasant, that is some type of sexist. So it's easy to pathologize the men. That's allowed in our society. And thank you for the super chat. I'm Waffles. Thank you for the super chat. All right. And I'm going to address those two memberships in a minute. And Els Active says it's not a script. Els Active says, hey, I'm in the UK. It's not a script. I don't know, Dominique. Els Active said, I don't know about all of that. So maybe it is kind of one of these type of fake faux dating shows, but it's not scripted. I don't know. What are you trying to say, Els Active? But Els Active says it's not a script. So unless you saying you know something, Dominique, that Els Active don't know, you let me know. Oh boy. And thank you for the super chat, Els. Thank you for the super chat. Els says, I don't know about all that, but I don't think it's a script. Oh boy. And Ainu says the gigification of Pretty Woman. And you could correct me if I'm wrong. Ainu is referring to Pretty Woman the movie, right? And yeah, right. So it's the ideal of and I've just played it as a matter of fact. It's this all over again.
The wealthy will not marry you, and here's why. There's a term for this in economics, and it's called assortative mating. It's a tendency for people.
It's that. It's the ladies looking to be saved, just like in Pretty Woman. To be so attractive and so appealing and so just absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. And I get it, female fantasy. We're not going to defecate on the female fantasy too much. We engage in fantasy. Men even engage in fantasy. It's just that the world doesn't let us go too far with it because it'll punch us in the face with reality without the gloves. Right? But yeah, the women are allowed to engage in fantasy. The problem is that the women live in fantasy and become delusional and then mess up society with doing that. But okay, fine. But yeah, the gigification of Pretty Woman with so many women are looking to be subsidized or paid for outright and saved financially by the tall, good-looking, charismatic ladies man who only has eyes for her. Huh? Rich, tall, good-looking, charismatic, blow her socks off ladies man. Probably white. Maybe not. Yeah. The gigification of Pretty Woman. I hear you. Right? Elle says, maybe the girl is being extra, but this is a consistent pushing. Oh, y'all give me a second. That was a bit of technical difficulty on my side. And Elle says, maybe the girl is being extra, but this is consistent mindset. This is a consistent mindset she's been pushing. So Elle says, nah, she been talking like this. I don't know, Dominique. I don't know. Huh? Talking about that. Better you want to torture y'all today. Better you said, get ready. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And better you says, we might get drafted to Iran. Waterboard these ninjas. Good play. Excuse me. Waterboard these ninjas good. Play Diglett, Munchkin, the Iron Bang. Which one is the Iron Bang? Because I don't know if I have Cynthia G. Iron Bang. Gotta make sure these bros strong, right? And look, better you paid good money for us to go through it, right? So we're gonna start off with, well, who do we want to start off with? We'll start off with Diglett.
Because getting a man is not hard. Can we? Truly. Okay, no matter what happens with my relationship status, getting a man is not an accomplishment in 2023. And it also pisses me off. And this is why, like, Brittany is really fucking setting the free 30-something women the fuck back, okay? You're embarrassing us. Okay? And this is why I will always respect Amber Rose. Because to this day, Amber Rose is like, I'll take your fucking shit. I don't give a fuck. I do what I want to do. Sometimes it's a little cringy, but I'm going to stand on my shit. I'm going to own it. I love this. Whatever. She never switched up. Brittany's doing exactly. She's doing exactly what the manosphere niggas talk about. Okay? Which is, you have a bad experience with a wealthy, high-profile person. You have a baby. You get dragged through the mud. And then you realize you're in your early 30s. This is their narrative. Their narrative is then you have a baby, you get dragged through the mud, and then you realize, oh, the clock is ticking. And so now you have to completely rebrand into a loud and proud pick me and scold other women about what they're not doing to get them in. That is exactly what they say. Why would stop embarrassing us. Stop embarrassing us. As a single 33-year-old woman, stop it. Okay? I hope she at least, gets man she desires. I hope she gets some, good, faithful dick to swoop in or whatever, pay her car note or whatever.
Shout out to Better You.
As a man, if you don't have house core job, don't look for a woman with house core job. And for the men that complain about women that do that, look for a man that has all three and they don't have all three. We can do that. We are women. You want us. You need us. Y'all want one thing from us. And mad because we boss y'all around because you're a fucking servant. You're a provider, right? You're a protector, right? You're a security guard and you're a goddamn assistant. Know your place. Stop being contradicting. And bow down. Because I'm sick of it.
Shout out to Better You, and to do Better You a solid, because I don't have Iron Bangs, I don't have Cynthia G, but I do have Miss Decenter Min herself, who Better You has the hots for. Miss Real Talk with Yanni, everyone. Clap it up for her.
Decenter men. This is not coming from a place of hurt, trauma. This is coming from a place of peace and happiness. And I just remember when I used to go out, and I used to just go out just to have a good time, laugh, great conversations, and just being a personality. My personality wasn't about getting a man. It was just about having fun. And I just want to get back to that. I just want to get back to me. And I'm tired of social media. I'm wanting to decenter men, decenter social media. And I just want to just be about me. I want to be selfish and self-centered as an ex-people pleaser, because everything nowadays is about getting a man, keeping a man, having a man's baby. And it's just too much. And I'm just getting nauseous just thinking about it. There has to be more to life than just men. And so now that I have these centered men for my life, I find myself actually having a good time. I go out in social settings. The objective isn't to get numbers, to get a man, to get a date. It's just to have great conversation. And I've been enjoying myself. I have. You know, I'm flirting. I'm having amazing conversations, meeting new people, and I'm just keeping it at that. And I like that. I feel in control, and I like how I have this I don't give a fuck attitude, and it's just very freeing. Whereas before, it was all about getting a man and hanging around women that wanted to go out just to get attention and to get a man. And it's just so exhausting. But now I actually go out. I'm actually having a great time. And I like it. I love it here, actually. I'm just tired of these videos. It's a man, it's a woman telling you, get a man, you need a man. You're gonna die alone. And I like being alone. I like it. It's peaceful. And this decentering men thing, I think it's necessary because a lot of women are exposing themselves to like temporary relationships just because they're listening to people online. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cute. I think it's funny because I'm a woman that actually enjoys being alone, right? I enjoy my aloneness. I think it's funny because some women feel like they're one-upping you because they have a temporary relationship. And I'm like, but your relationship is temporary. Even the women with rings, your marriage is temporary. Like, it's not lasting. It didn't last. A lot of women are in situationships, temporary relationships, friends with benefits, temporary relationships. They're just in these temporary relationships because social media is telling them that they need a man, or they should get a man, or hurry up, girl, better get your man before you hit the wall. It's like, it's just too much. And now I have moved to a space where I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And it feels so good because I just don't give a fuck. And nobody is going to force me to give a fuck. And I like it. And another thing, when it comes to this decentering men, I have embraced my masculine. I've embraced my feminine side. I've embraced my light feminine. I've embraced my dark feminine. I've embraced all of myself. And I love that for me.
And once again, shout out to Better You, who said, we might get drafted to Iran. Waterboard these ninjas good. Play Diglett, Munchkin, the Iron Bang, all the others. Gotta make sure these bros strong. Right? And I gave him 3. I didn't play all the others. We would be here forever. Right? But yeah, pretty much all of this comes up to...
Who gonna check me, boo?
Huh? You damn right. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Summer Non Other Batty says, decenter who? Question mark. 80% unwed. You already been decentered. Oh boy. Right? Summer Non Batty said, look, you already been decentered, lady. And shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. Right? And you know, We tell women to decenter men. And I'm going to what you're saying here with this super chat. And we never actually questioned, and this is what Scott Galloway is speaking about, and Dr. Richard Reeves and others, primarily men, but even some women. What happens when the men decenter women? Who's going to overproduce? Who's going to overproduce when the men decenter women? Do women earn enough and do the critical maintaining of the infrastructure, particularly the physical infrastructure of society? Is there enough women maintaining our physical infrastructure so that the decentering of men can take full effect? Now we know, let's not let Mr. Z be hyperbolic too much. We know that when they say decenter men, they tend to be speaking about decentering men romantically, right? Decentering men, if we're going to be extremely straitjacket level generous to the ladies, dumb, stupid, retardedly generous to the ladies, what they're saying is don't center being in an intimate relationship with a man. Don't make your whole life and your whole personality, this is the feminist talking, don't make your whole life and your whole personality having a boyfriend, having a husband, right? Yawn. That's how the ladies frame it. Huh? Decenter men means that you haven't made having a man, getting a man, chasing after a man, your whole personality. Mr. Z gets it. But in actuality, in practice, what decenter men has become and what it means, what it always meant, is enjoy your autonomy in your single life and only get with a man if he's either blowing your back out or is he funding you and buying you out of your autonomy. And Mr. Z used those words deliberately. Buying you out of your autonomy. Does he earn enough? Does he kiss enough ass? Is the XXX fund good enough to buy you out of your autonomy? Is he good looking enough to buy you out of your autonomy? And if your autonomy costs you struggle, so be it. But nothing less than buying you out of your autonomy at the highest level, right? Oh boy. Oh, thank you for that, Dominican. And channel is Standout TV. Show is called Grilling. Okay, thank you. And I like this comment. You can't criticize women for not having kids. Why can't we? Says who? Do we not criticize men for not having money? Do we not criticize men for not having height, something they can't control? Huh? Do we not criticize men for a manner of things, some of which is in their control, some of which is not? Why can't we criticize women for not having children? Especially when the masses of them are everyday women, salt of the earth, everyday women. Nothing wrong with that. And them not having children at scale, we're not talking about an individual woman, we're talking about women at scale not having children. There go your military age men, because the women didn't have them. There go your future tax base, to subsidize you in your older age, because the women didn't have those children. Huh? There go your economy. There go some of your inventions, because it's younger folks that tend to come up with the cool stuff, the inventions. Huh? All your tech stuff was really 20 some odd year olds, teens, 20 some odd year olds, maybe early and mid 30s, maybe. You could kiss that goodbye because we didn't have the kids. The women didn't have the kids. Why not criticize the women? Huh? Why not criticize the women? all of your police officers, your soldiers, your inventors, your tax-paying, working age men and women, they're not existing. Because the women said, 1 kid at max, 2 if I'm insane, 0, ding, ding, ding. Why not? At scale, this is a societal problem. If the women keep on saying, and right now we're not talking about the staunchest of feminists, if the women keep on saying that the men need to go to school and the men need to, to make them more viable, but the women said hypergamy is on my level or above. They prefer not on my level. It's above. So how is the math supposed to math where we catapult the men above the women, but the women don't throw a fit about it? And then the women end up with men that when she has a bachelor's, he has a master's. When she's earning 60, he's earning 100. Huh? She's 5'4", he's 5'10", 11, 6 feet plus. And she's okay with this, and she doesn't blow it up because equality, equity, egalitarianism. You see how like advocating for these things, which Mr. Z is not against, I am on the left, ends up biting women in the rear end because they still want to end up with, when they're in romantic relationship, they prefer taller, stronger, status, more money. So why not criticize women? Huh? Why not? An individual woman with this weirdo, hypocritical view is a problem. Women at scale with this hypocritical view is a societal problem. So why not criticize them? And Dominique says they're not serious. I don't know about that. Huh? Yeah, I saw that. And the Arena Revised says, Dominique, content creators are now calling black men red flags for being child free. Look, all this weirdo reverse psychology crap is just not going to work. We're not going. We're not going to be your stepdaddies. We're not going to have oops babies with y'all like that anymore. No, that's out the window. Y'all said y'all looking rich. Charismatic guys. The men said, I bet. Here are some boxing gloves and boxing shoes. I'll do you that solid and go fight for him. If you can't get him, you can't circle back to me. There's no reach backs. Huh? Yeah. That it is. Lion says reckless. That it is. That it is. Huh? Yeah. And the Arena Revised says, Melissa Ford just made a, quote, we're decentering men and living well Instagram reel, and the brothers are frying her in the comments. Goodwill ruined. Bro, send me that, please and thank you. Y'all might get a stream tonight. Send me that. The rest of you can send me whatever accompanying links or anything y'all want to send me. Y'all might get a stream tonight. Y'all might get a panel tonight. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe not a panel, but y'all might get a stream tonight. It all depends. He got things to do later, but we'll see if we could shoehorn a little hour and a half, hour long Mr. Z little. Look, y'all know Mr. Z we could freestyle for a couple hours. Shout out to BGS for complimenting me about that. But yeah, about an hour and a half. That's a short stream for Z. And thank you for the super chat, the Arena Revised. Thank you for the super chat. Send me the link, please. Right? Melissa Ford, another one. Beautiful. Messed up in the head. But all of these excuses. You know, Mr. Z appreciates Claudia Jordan because she's not pretending. We saw the interview a couple months ago where she just came down the middle and just said it. I might have overlooked good guys. I ran out of time, right? I messed up. And I might actually use that clip to go with what the Arena Revised is speaking about. Claudia Jordan just said it. She just came through the middle and said it. Vivica A. Fox, she didn't say all of that, but she kind of does regret not having children because of her career. She has said something along those lines. And she has said, you know, I'm looking to settle down at 60. Right? Now, I do appreciate that Melissa Ford is a few years younger than Claudia Jordan, and she's a decade younger than Vivica A. Fox, but she's still on the same nods to men. And we're perfectly okay with being single. BS. You wouldn't be talking about it so much. Oops. You wouldn't be trying to convince yourself and others so much. Shout out to Tracy Ellis Ross too. Oops. Huh? So yeah, the Arena Revised. If you can send me that, please and thank you. And thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And let me see, let me make sure. And I saw what you said, Els Active. Els Active said he runs in similar circles to the young brother that was on the UK show. Right? I saw that comment, but let me read some of these super chats. And Detroit said earlier, and thank you for the super chat, Trump, all that talking ish tax bracket. I got something for that ass, me. Look, I said it before, right? The way that this tax bill that recently got signed a couple months ago, the big beautiful bill, the way it works is a lot. We're all going to get some type of tax cut over the next few years, but there's a sunset clause on that for those of us working class, middle class folks. The wealthy tax cut is going to stay in perpetuity unless another politician, president in Congress signs it and passes it. The wealthy tax cut is going to continue. From my understanding, the tax cut for the rest of us sunsets, expires in 2028, right as the next president is coming in. Right? If I'm not mistaken, I might be a little bit off on that. So Trump think he's slick with this. He's putting the next president in a pincer move, particularly if it's a Democrat, where your taxes are going to go up, but it's not because of the next president. Even if it's a Republican, it's not because of the next president. It's because the tax cut expired for your everyday folks. Now appreciate the weird dance this is. You're going to get used to over the next few years that tax cut. But once again, remember, your taxes go to funding. Yeah, your taxes go to paying for goddamn missiles and whatnot. Goes to pay for that little slice of Europe to do what the hell they doing over there in the Middle East. Y'all know what Mr. Z is saying. But your taxes also go to funding that YMCA center in your neighborhood. Huh? Depending on how the taxes are divvied out, I know state, local municipalities and federal government, et cetera, et cetera. We know. But either way, so Trump think he's slick with this. It's going to be interesting to see in the next few years how your average American responds to potentially their taxes going back up. Right? So, yeah. And thank you for the super chat, Detroit. Thank you for the super chat. Right? Read the next one. And Eric Dedman says, and my apologies for the wait, Eric Dedman. And Eric Dedman says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe to the super chat. Eric says, Z, the Chinese men are flying out to Southeast Asia to find wives, and the Chinese women are pissed. Send you the link, passport bros everywhere. I will check it out. I will check it out. I remember BGS covered something like that a little while ago. I will check it out. Right? And thank you for the super chat. Yeah, look, men across the planet are... We're not going to, I know in certain places they do that. Certain places they even kidnap women, or they assault women when women reject them. But for the most part, in civilized society, that is not going to happen. The men they realize, okay, fine, I got priced out, or I'm not tall enough, or I'm not good looking enough. Cool. I will just go to places where who I am is valued. I will put myself in spaces, or I will find someone who values me for me. Dear ladies, aren't you encouraged to do the same thing? So Whether it's South Korea, whether it's China, whether it's Japan, whether it's Norway, whether it's the US, right? Men across the board who can financially afford it and who have the wherewithal are going to find spaces, places, and women who at least could pretend for long enough to like him, and that will do for him without an insane price tag on it. So in China, if they're traveling across the rest of Asia or Southeast Asia, as you said, and they're finding their future wife in Thailand, in the Philippines, in Cambodia, in Laos, etc., somewhere in Malaysia, somewhere in Indonesia, even though that's more Oceania, but anyway, so be it. The Chinese men who've been with the Chinese women for thousands of years, literally, if the Chinese women in large enough number think that not enough Chinese men are on their level, the Chinese men don't have to overextend themselves or extend themselves to prove that they are. They can just go to places, find women if they are allowed to. The Chinese government, in my mind, is going to eventually put a hatchet to that. Adjust the women's temperature and end all these men being passport bros. I could see it coming, right? Pause. With that, similar to the US, if enough men are not on enough women's level, then the men will move accordingly. Huh? And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. All right, and let's see. Give me a second. What's next? Who's next? I missed that. Right. And Ainu says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Ainu says, the preemptive quote, I never asked for this, is just covering her butt. Right. And I don't remember which video you're referring to because that was a little while ago. Mr. Z over here messing up. But are you talking about this one?
Look at here, look at here. Y'all keep
The kind of anchor video of today. Maybe possibly let me get a comment and we'll go on from there. But yeah, right. The I never asked for this. Huh? Yeah. So I'm gonna just leave that up there, I know, until I get a response from you, possibly. I don't know if you still okay. You said check my email. I will do that after the stream. Y'all might get another stream. Oh, you were talking about that. Okay. Yeah, so she can say that because okay, we'll take her at face value. We'll take her at face value. Possibly she's not one of these low level to high level gold diggers. Cool. She knows they exist. You can see that she kind of made reference to them. But madam, you may not be. Possibly, we're going to take you at face value. One of these women, you're willing to work with a man. You're willing to genuinely build with a man and live your life and build your life together with him. You're not waiting at the finish line. But you have to understand that is not the current trend in America, particularly for the Black community. The ladies aren't trying to build anything. They're not trying to do it in their 20s, let alone their 30s and 40s, which is somewhat understandable. Right? And so the young men see that and they're moving accordingly. They know they can afford these women. So many of us said that, and I don't mean us as in the Black Manosphere, but so many of us said that if you can afford to date, don't date. Huh? So many of us said something similar to that, and the young men heard us, and they're moving accordingly.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women right now. You need to be focusing on yourself and getting your life together so that that doesn't bother you.
Men need to date within their tax bracket and stop getting mad that the woman they want has high standards. You don't walk into a luxury store and get mad that the prices are high. You can either build up your money and wait to buy what you want or shop where you can afford. Dating works the same way. A woman with high standards makes insecure men feel uncomfortable, not because they're asking for too much, but because she reminds them of what they haven't built yet. If you want to appeal to a high standard woman, focus on building your income, your discipline, your purpose, and self-respect. Build yourself up to attract the standard of woman you desire.
So if you're making $50,000, don't date. I'm just being for real. You're not ready to date.
Again, I'm with you.
You're not ready to date because courtship costs.
Okay.
Everything costs. You can go for 22 walks in the park. Eventually, shorty is gonna need a sip of something. She gonna be thirsty. This bottle of water is $3 in Atlanta. Let's not play. So if you don't have any expendable cash, don't date. And whatever that looks like for you, you might only make 50,000, but you live in a shoe, and now you got expendable cash. Or get you a bottom of the barrel bitch that's gonna date you when you have no money. If she doesn't have that expectation, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, enjoy it while it lasts because eventually you're gonna want to run. Because she doesn't stretch you. She doesn't make you the man that you need to become. She allows you to be the stagnant dude in the same jeans for days. You know what I'm saying?
Be cutting up.
I'm
You
just
talk about
saying.
me.
Huh? So many videos, and these young men are exposed to this in real life. I gotta stress that. Let's not allow for people to make it seem like some chronically online gender warring crap. No, these young men are hearing their aunts, their mothers, their sisters, their older sisters, their girl cousins, their relatives literally sound like this. Huh? The clip I have, I think there was a Jamaican flag in the background where the black woman was at the pulpit pretty much sounding like this. In church. These young men are exposed to that. They're seeing this in real life, in real time. And they're moving accordingly. So if 52% of them, young men, say they can't afford to date, it's because we as a society, that includes the women, told the young men, you can't afford to date me. And the young men are moving accordingly. If that causes a lowering birth rate, so be it. We're not trying to adjust our daughter's appetite and desires. Mr. Z doesn't even know if we should. Just deal and eat the consequences, though. Huh? And thank you for the super chat, Ainu. Thank you for the super chat. Right. And let me see if there was any more, because I know there were more. Y'all gives you a second because we moving and grooving right now. All right. And Inspired Shoot says, and thank you for the super chat, I was relying on you being late, Z. My apologies for not doing the usual Z who takes being black late and breaks the knob to being black Haitian late. Which is a whole different level of fashionably late. It's not even fashionable anymore. It's just late. We break the knob on the late. Right. And thank you for the super chat, Inspired You. Thank you for the super chat. And we're going to wait before we acknowledge that membership, really. And L says, thank you for the super chat. The money and the status is the X in XY for most women. Say that. That's what men are. The X in XY is the money and the status. Oh man, wouldn't that be the Y though? Else, because if women are XX chromosome and men are XY chromosome, I'm kind of messing up the whole joke right here. But see, you have to be so goddamn technical. Look, wouldn't the Y be the money and the status? Either way, okay, whatever. Anyway, I'm doing too much. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Right? Oh man. But yeah, so yeah, for women, that's for many women, that's what we are as men, right? And the other qualities matter. I want everyone to appreciate your other qualities and attributes matter to the ladies. It does. Genuinely. It just come after the money and the status. Huh? It does matter. It's just after. For not all women, but most. Huh? And Detroit says, and thank you for the super chat, even I'm a billionaire, even though I'm a billionaire, I think you meant to say, even I'm a billionaire, I'm broke. That's just facts. Oh, man. Huh? I'm a little lost on this statement, Detroit. You got to explain that a little bit. Even I'm a billionaire, I'm broke. That's just, oh, I get what you're saying. Even okay. Even if you were a billionaire, you would act like you're broke concerning the women. I agree. Unless I'm missing what you're saying, but I think that's what you were trying to say. Right. Yeah, that's how I would play it. That's how I would play it. Even if I'm a billionaire, I get what you're saying. Even if I'm a billionaire, I'm broke. That's just facts. That's how I would play it. You know, if I happen to be single and had crazy money, as much as I possibly could, I would minimize my status and my money concerning dating and mating, and maybe even XXX access. Depending on the desperation level, maybe I have a little contract with a little, you know. But outside of that, on a serious note, anything I'm trying to do seriously, nope, you will not know. I will be a standard man, right? You might not ever see my place, or I'll have a little throwaway play, a little apartment. Sparsely furnished. Yeah. You won't know for a while. And why not? Huh? Why not? And going to that, Bruce Owen Wayne says, and thank you for the super chat, it's not money. I just don't like y'all yitches. And thank you for the super chat. For me, it's not a dislike of women or a hatred of women. It's the way we have socialized women and the way we've been socialized as the rest of society to address women over the past few decades is crippling, because women's hypocrisy, bad behavior, and sexism goes unaddressed. And whatever antisocial behavior that a preponderance of women engage in, we find ways to minimize it, to explain it away, and to even insult the men and even other women for questioning it. So for me, it's not a dislike of women per se, just the dance that many of us are forced to play. Not all of us play it, but many of us are forced to play concerning women, their behavior, their proclivities. Huh? And that what at least it appears to be to Z is that elite men, mainly white, are using women as a buffer class. So it's not a hatred of the women, it is a dislike of how women have been positioned and maneuvered, no pun, kind of pun, where women in Western civilization, where women in the developed world, in developing world, where women in America specifically, how they've been maneuvered and positioned concerning class, in our case, race, and how we view race and how we address race in the Black community, concerning income, wealth, power, influence, how women have been positioned in many respects is a bunch of talking about class and elitism and power and influence and air quotes the patriarchy and down with the patriarchy. It's a lot of talking. With that, the masses of women, heterosexual women, don't actually make the moves to dismantle the patriarchy, because the patriarchy in America is white. And not that many women, that includes the women of color, are actually doing the things that includes the feminist women of color that would indicate they're actually anti-patriarchy. So once again, it's not a hatred or a dislike for women. It is a dislike for the way they've been positioned and maneuvered concerning men and boys, right? So yeah, and thank you for the super chat, Bruce on Wayne. Thank you for the super chat. And let's make sure I didn't have any more. Okay. Oh, and Seth's son says, let me know if I pronounced that correctly. Z, and thank you for the super chat. Z, good work. You got to make these clips accessible to the brothers. Okay. I'll try to link them in the description box. Right. Y'all know Mr. Z be reckless, so I'll just be, you know, and sometimes the time. I know y'all be like, damn, Z, you stream for like 2.5 hours. You be talking about time. Hey, it's reckless for multiple reasons, and Mr. Z got to make that back. Anyway, don't put it in the comments. And my people will snipe your ass. Okay, continuing. And Seth's son, thank you for the super chat. With that, let me acknowledge our 2 newest members. Right, starting with, if I could get up there, that would be great. Where did it go? I could have been way more smoother about this. First, Inspired Truth. Thank you to Inspired Truth. Meryl. Z, you really didn't get the sound clip. I know, right? And shout out to Inspired Truth, and thank you for the new membership. And like I said, as more people file in, we will start doing our membership only streams and membership first pre-records. I think I already have an idea of one. Right? So I think I have an idea of one. That's like saying I think. But yeah, we'll get underway on that. And thank you, Inspired Truth, for your membership. Volume member, and Inspired Truth's been riding with me for a little while now. Y'all check out Inspired Truth. He has his own channel. Y'all check him out. The brother's doing the Lord's work, professional brother. I did watch your interview of what's the brother name? The Passport Bro brother name. And I did see that the nameless protagonist jumped on the panel. Austin Hollerman, yeah. But I did see I watched the whole thing actually, and it was a great interview. I'm glad that you spoke to him. Yeah. Right. And so that was a great interview. Y'all check out Inspired Truth in his channel, right? I have some of his stuff linked in my community tab also, right? So yeah. And thank you for that super chat. And my apologies, not super chat, membership. And let's also address our other, better yet, new member, Read Out Loud. And Read Out Loud says, I'll be your Huckleberry, right? And thank you for the new membership. Like I said, waiting for a few more people to file in, and we'll start underway with the membership exclusive stuff or first stuff. Membership exclusive stuff and first stuff. And to everyone else, don't worry, Mr. Z is not going to do that thing where it's like more than half or half of my stuff is membership stuff. That's not how I'm built. And yeah, I do appreciate the love, the super chats, and all of that. But this is like a passion project that I get paid for in a way, right? And so I appreciate the love and the support. But I don't want to be that person that just turns it into a hardcore business, maybe, right? I think I'm kind of out of that lane already. I think I knowingly but kind of inadvertently, Z, what are you saying? Jumped out of that lane when FD slid through a couple of times and kind of put the money on the table, kind of put the offer on the table a smidge. Some of y'all were here to witness that. And I kind of rebuffed him. Pause. And yeah, so Mr. Z is, you know, we not rolling in the dough, but we still have our soul. Ooh, Z rhyming. Right. We not rolling in the dough, but we still have our soul. So yeah, there's that. There's that, right? So, and thank you for that. Read out loud, and yeah. And what else do we have? We're gonna play it one more again, and we'll end out in a minute. Continuing.
Look at here, look at here. Y'all keep coming with the excuses. They say 52% of young men say they can't afford to date. Money is now the #1 barrier to finding love. I paused intentionally because the excuses just keep on coming. Why is it that a man can't use his brain and be creative and think of great ways to take a woman out without spending the bank? Because let me tell you something, fellas, if you only taking a woman out that only wants you because you're spending money, that's probably a great indicator in dating that she might not be the one for you. Here in Detroit, we have a river walk where you could take a woman right to the river walk, have a great time, talking about life, talking about goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And that can be probably the most memorable date that you both have ever been on. But you sitting up here trying to have $200 dates for what? If you ain't got that kind of bank, you shouldn't be trying to do that. And if that woman requires that, then she's just not the woman for you. Some of y'all going over and beyond for women that never even wanted you in the first place. If she only with you for a free meal, that's already giving you a clear indicator she's not the one for you. So stop the excuses, stop all the mess. Finances, I understand the economy is bad, but when has it not? Every generation had to deal with the economy, and every last one of them complained about money. So that can't be the reason. The truth is, you're not trying to be creative, and you're probably going after women that don't want you, and that's on you. You have to take accountability, fellas. Just like you say women should too. I love my fellas, but start thinking smart, because if I was a boy mom, I would be telling my son these type of things, and you guys should already know this. So love yourself enough to know. Go out with a woman that really is thinking about a future, really thinking about how she can build. Because a woman that's looking to build, she's not looking to spend all your money on the first few dates. She's looking to actually build with someone that can grow wealth together. Think about it, fellas. Be creative out there. I love y'all, fellas, and you know I love my ladies.
Once again, all of that sound nice until you appreciate that the ladies are out here and at least a third of them are admitting to engaging in foodie calls.
Going for dinner and drinks may not be as innocent as you might think. A study published in the Society for Personality and Social Psychology found that up to a third of women go on dates just for the free food.
Aww.
They call these foodie calls. When someone has no romantic interest in their date, they're going strictly for the food. All right, we asked our viewers if you've ever done this. Have you ever gone on a date just for free food? 23% of you have gone on a foodie call. You said yes. Say it isn't so, Dr. Batra.
I mean, it sounds like what? A fourth to a third of women are admitting to this, which usually means even more are doing it. So
have you ever done it?
And a third of men expect to have sex if they buy you dinner.
Well, so that's the really interesting thing. So the reason, perfect segue, I've never done this, is because whenever someone pays for you, there's an expectation. So I think women just think, oh, I'm going to go. It's going to be this great meal. And the guy's like, I just paid big bucks. I expect a return on my investment. So you have to be really careful.
Hopefully this is all a bit more innocent and it's, oh, I don't love the guy that much, but you never know. And hey, secondary gain, a free meal.
Thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't have that problem anymore.
maybe you go on a date, make a foodie call, but you find out you really like the person.
Yep. Diaspora says gaslight. I knew says that fake ass. Oh, exactly. Right. Man. So once again, it's easy to tell the men to vet, but even the white lady admitted that if a quarter of the women in studio, or the women in studio, and a third of the women that were polled Giggity. If a third of the women that were polled admitted that, the white woman in studio, the white woman right there, admitted to you that if a third are saying they did it, you know it's way more. If a third are admitting to engaging in this type of behavior, you know it's way more. Once again, to the title, pricing the box out the game. Men heard you and are moving accordingly. Right? And the Arena Revised says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe to the super chat. In LA in the 90s, we called it dinner 304ing. Right? Dinner 304ing with the W. Dinner warring, we'll say. Right? I feel like the rap songs on the censored radio channels that you got, that it's bleeped out or it's just quiet for the profanity. Right? And the Arena Revised, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. He said, in the late 90s, we called it dinner 304ing. Yep. Yep. Right? Foodie call, you know, these newfangles, Mr. Z, home millennials, right? But these newfangles, they gotta, you know, use the euphemisms that take the sting out of it. We use euphemisms for euphemisms. Huh? So yeah. Oh man. So on that note, everyone, we will pause right here. Oh, he said not the late 90s, the entire 90s. Okay, correction. All right, and thank you for that, the Arena Revised. And on that note, everyone, we will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. Let Mr. Z get out of here for a little bit. Y'all might be getting a stream later on tonight. We'll see. Lion, this time, please don't miss your own stream. Lion been itching to give us. I got a story to tell, right? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna link Biggie. I got a story to tell in the description box for Lion. First, Lion's from New York. Secondly, well, Lion got a story to tell. So we might do a panel discussion later on today. If not today, tomorrow. So Lion, hopefully you'll be able to come up and actually let us know about your speed dating adventures, right? Lion's speed dating adventures from the Carolinas, reporting live. Right, so we'll see if Lion's even still listening, but we'll see. I'll try to give enough warning so that Lion can see the notification. Right, so we'll see. If not today, once again, if not later on today, we will shoot for tomorrow on that one. Right, and on that note, everyone, truly, we will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. And Mr. Z out.
You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.